Good morning. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And today we are talking about, on this Friday, May 19th, we're talking about several different ways people use to manage their debt, and it did not work for them. It's not efficient. They're trying everything they can, and the debt is just still hanging on. Those student loans are hanging around like household pets. They're not going anywhere. They don't seem to come down. Everything you've ever tried, year after year after year, the debt's still not going away as fast as you would like. So, folks, come on in. If you have an idea about how debt is working for you, the things you've tried before and that didn't work, go ahead and put something in the chat this morning. If you're watching us online, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, put in the something about what you've tried in the past and it did not work well for you. All right, try something. Tell us about it. And then we'll go over it. But I have some ideas about how we can handle that today. All right. So anyway, come on in. Let's start inviting some people in here. And let's share it out in the hallway. And I'm going to ping some people in. I'm going to take just a few minutes here and to ping some people in if you're on Clubhouse here. And there we go. We've got, let's see. We're going to bring him in. We're going to invite her in. Yep. Use the message, send that out. We're going to invite her in. All right. Invite her in. Come on, folks. Help me invite some folks in here. They need to hear this. They need to hear it. All right. So we're inviting her. All right. Him. Okay. Her. There we go. Keep inviting those folks in, folks. And boom, boom. All right. So I've invited a few people in. All right. And I hope you're doing the same, inviting a few people in. But I want to share with you today. All right. The main reason why we're having such difficulty in understanding debt and getting rid of it. If you are online today, share this with your community. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, share this with your followers because they are going to want to hear why they have been trying to get out of debt. Did you realize 9 out of 10 people you know will never get out of debt, even though they're trying the very best of the information that is out there today? You want to know this, okay? So listen to this. Our lack of comprehension regarding the underlying mechanics of amortization and its significant influence on debt formation poses significant limitations to our debt management strategies, okay? Leading to outcomes that barely scratch the surface of success. We're missing out on addressing the root cause, the complex interplay of principal and interest payments in the amortization formula. A knowledge gap that's leading us astray. Unless we unravel and grasp this crucial aspect, we are essentially choosing to navigate our path in financial darkness, only to experience subpar results. I'm not saying we're not going to get some results. I'm just saying that we're going to get subpar results. You're not going to get what you're looking for in understanding how debt is managed if you've tried everything and nothing works. So let's go over some of the things that people have tried in the past that did not work for them. So let me bring up my notes here. And we're going to talk about some of this. Have you heard of the debt snowball? We're going to go over that today. and why you're going to get subpar results from the debt snowball. If you've tried it and it failed, or it took longer than you wanted to take, we're going to talk about that today. Have you heard of the avalanche method? We're going to talk about that today, and why these things are very common, and you hear them year after year after year. People talk about these things. And even though these things are out there, these ways of attacking debt are out there, they do not take into account the formula that manages the debt, that creates the principal and interest payments that you have to pay in the way that they're created. These solutions do not give us the results we're looking for, because these solutions leave out how debt is created in the first place. Can you imagine that a chiropractor once told me, said, Don, your headache is not the result of an aspirin deficiency. And I had to think about that. I was taking aspirin or Tylenol for a headache. And he said, your headache is not the result of an aspirin deficiency. So why are you taking aspirin to treat the headache? You're only treating the symptom. You need to find out the cause, the root cause of your headache. So, folks, the root cause of your debt is the amortization schedule and not understanding it. And so any plan that you come up with that doesn't address the root cause, the amount of interest that you pay, then you're only going to get subpar results when you're trying to handle your debt. So go ahead and so if you want to see some of the things that we're going to be putting on the screen today, you want to go to YouTube, and on a secondary device, search for P.I.L.L method, and then you'll be able to see the live. If you're watching the replay, if you're listening to the replay on Clubhouse, you can also go to YouTube and watch the whole thing, and then also watch some of the examples that we're going to be putting up. So listen, if you understand the debt snowball and what it is doing, you'll also see that it is so inefficient when it comes to dealing with your debt. The debt snowball is inefficient when it comes to dealing with your debt. And here's why. If you have debt, and what you're doing with the debt snowball is paying off the smallest one first. You're paying off the one that you owe the least on first. When you do that, okay, so here's what you're doing. You're finding out how much of your budget do you want to put on as an extra payment, all right, to that particular debt. Let's just say that your minimum payment on this $300 credit card is $25. So you're saying, okay, how much more do I want to put with my $25 payment? Let's just say you're putting on $50. Now I have $75 going to this $300 debt. Okay. And then if I continue to put that $75 on each month, I will knock that debt out faster than if I were just to put on the $25. And then when that debt is eliminated, I take the $75 now and I apply that to my next debt. Let's say I owe $500 on the other debts, okay, on this one. And now I take my $75 and I apply it to the minimum payment on that $500 debt. And now I have more money going to that debt. So let's say my minimum payment was $35. So now I have $105 going to this debt. And by doing that, debt snowball, and I keep adding on the minimum payment along with my extra payment, and then the payment I apply to each succeeding debt, all right, then I will be able to pay them all off faster because I'm snowballing my payments into the next one. This is why I'm going to explain to you why that is inefficient. What it does, folks, it gives you small wins and makes you feel good about the fact that you've paid off a particular debt. Now, if you want to see why this is so important, to face this and understand why this is inefficient, here's why. Go to YouTube. I'm getting ready to put it on the screen right now as to why the debt snowball, the avalanche methods of cutting up your credit cards and trying to use just cash, rounding up your payments, bi-weekly payments, all of these things are inefficient in handling your debt, but we're starting with the debt snowball. All right. So I am going to share this screen with you. I'm going to put it on here. All right, Kurt. Kurt Nugent is our guy behind the scenes. He's our producer. So I'm going to share this particular screen. All right. And there we go. And we're putting on a amortization schedule. Okay. So I talked about let's say this $300 debt. Okay. It's 20, it's 27%. It is a credit card, which is 200, okay, 240 months. Okay. So now while I'm paying that, card, so I got that card. I've got another one. Let's see here. I'm going to duplicate that tab. Let's say I have another credit card where I owe $1,000, and my interest rate is let's say my interest rate is 18% on that one. All right, 240 bucks on that one. So we've got that. All right. So my next one is a personal loan. My next one is a personal loan. So we're going to duplicate this one, duplicate that. So again, so my next debt is I owe $3,000 on a personal loan. They're giving me 36 months to pay that. All right. My interest rate is 10%. Okay. Interest rate 10%. Okay. And here is, okay. And there's my payment on that. Okay. And my interest only is $25 on that one. My interest on this one, okay, is $15 on this one. My interest payments start out as $6.75 on this one. Okay. So if I start out with the smallest one, and then I'm knocking that one out. All right. And what I'm doing is I'm eliminating the interest cost on these loans. Well, the first interest cost on this loan is $6.75. So by knocking out this payment, I'm knocking out these interest payments, because that is what keeps us in debt forever. Keep this in mind, folks. Keep this in mind. What is it about the debt that's causing the main problem? So let me ask you, if all of your debt was 0% interest, ask yourself this question. If all of your debt was 0% interest, is there any benefit to paying the debt off early? Is there any financial benefit to paying the debt off early if all of your debt was 0% interest? Okay, so we got a few more people in here right now. Thank you very much for coming in. We're talking about all the things you've ever done to manage the debt, but it's not going away fast enough. It's hanging around. You're not getting the results that you are looking for. And there's a reason why, excuse me, there's a reason why you're not getting the results that you're looking for, because we're not handling it in the correct fashion. The things that we do to handle the debt are inefficient. So I've got 3 debts in here. So let's put on now. The average family has 4 different debts. So now we're going to take a look at. We're going to add on another one. We're going to duplicate this. I have on this one, let's see, on this debt, I have 60 months. I have I have left $24,000. Okay, let's see, $26,000 on my car loan, which is at 5%. And let's see here. There's my payment on that. And my interest cost on that is $108. And then I've got another one here, duplicate that. And I've got a student loan. I got a student loan that is $75,000, $75,000. And my interest rate on that is just 6% though. But they're giving me, let's say, my payment on that student loan is, let's say, $200 a month. And so if I do that, it'll tell me how long it's going to take me to pay that off. All right. Oh, that won't pay off. Okay. So let me see here. Let's see, $300 a month. Let's try that. Okay. Oh, still not going to pay off. All right. Let's see, $400 a month. Oh, I put it in the wrong spot. $400. There we go. That's going to take us a while to pay that off. All right. But my payment is $375. And now we're going to put in a mortgage. Okay. So we're going to do this one more time. And we're going to put in our $200,000 mortgage at 6%, 360 months. Uh-oh, that's 260. We want 360 months. There we go. And our payment is $1,199.10. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loans in here. We're starting out with the smallest loan. Okay. We're starting out with the smallest loan, which is $300. And when we start out with the smallest loan, folks, this is how the debt snowball actually works. We're told to make the minimum payments on all the other loans while we gang up on this small one. Okay, we're ganging up on the small one and knocking it out. And so we have our minimum payment here at plus $75. I'm sorry, plus $50. And so let's say we can put $75 a month on this, but look at our interest payment. Our interest payment, the very first interest payment is $6.75. The very first interest payment is $6.75. And the interest payments go down from there. So as you're knocking out this loan, you are killing the $6.75 interest payments. Now, we don't have to go very far to begin to understand what's wrong with the debt snowball. I'm knocking out a debt that's costing me $6.75, but I am ignoring the debt that's costing me $15 a month. I'm just making minimum payments on that one. On the next debt, I'm ignoring that one, and that's costing me $25 a month interest. I'm ignoring that one. The next debt, I'm ignoring it. It cost me $108 a month. I'm ignoring that because I'm knocking out the one that's costing me only $6 a month. And then this next one cost me, Whoa, $375 a month. I'm ignoring that one too. All right, because that's what the debt snowball does. It ignores the interest payments on all these other loans. And then what the debt snowball and what Mr. Ramsey teaches out of Nashville, Tennessee, he's saying that the mortgage is actually last. After you pay off all of these and you snowball all of these loans, all right, and then you start attacking the mortgage, all right, which starts out, the very first payment is $1,000 a month interest. Folks, while you're knocking out the loan that cost you $6 a month and you're ignoring all these other loans and you're wondering why it takes so long to pay them off, can you see the inefficiency of the debt snowball? Because it is ignoring how much interest you're paying on the other loans, which keeps you in debt longer. Does that make sense to anybody? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Does the debt snowball make sense when it ignores all the other loans that are costing you way more interest? And the more interest you pay, the longer you stay in debt. Eliminate interest and you get out of debt faster. Pay less interest, get out of debt faster. Pay more interest, stay in debt longer. That is the key. So if you want to find out why you're in debt so long, this is it. You're ignoring the fact that you could take, if you were to take on this loan, let's say you moved up to this $3,000 loan that you have here at 10%, okay? And you have an extra $200 to put on this loan, all right? So I've got an extra $200 to put on this loan. Here's my cumulative principal, all right? I put $217, I prepay that. I'm going to knock out $73.20 worth of interest. Now, $73.20 in interest, that's still significant, wouldn't you say? I could save $73.20 if I put about $200 extra on this loan. That's going to be good. But look at this. If I take a look at my mortgage here and I put $200 extra on that, I knock out $999 worth of interest. Why would I be satisfied with putting $200 on a loan and only knocking out 70 some dollars when I could knock out nearly $1,000 with my money? The inefficiency of the debt snowball is glaring. Why in the world would anybody promote it? Not only that, watch this. The thing about the debt snowball is this. You have to pay down the debt that you have to zero, and then you switch to the next debt. Pay down the debt that you're working on to zero, and then you work on the next debt. Let me show you something here. As we get down to the end of this debt, I want you to see the tiny interest payments here towards the end of the debt. You're putting on a lot of money now, all right? You're building this up, and when you get down to the bottom, look at these tiny interest payments. $3, $3.22, $2.13. Why continue to pay this debt to zero when all you're going to save is 97 cents when you're putting a lot of money on this debt? You're only going to save 97 cents in interest. Why do that? Doesn't it make sense? Doesn't it make sense that if you're paying off the right debt at the right time, killing the maximum amount of interest, all right, doesn't it make sense that pretty soon, if you even choose the right one to attack, and you have, the average family has 13 different debts. 13 different debts. The average family has 13 debts. And if you even pick the right one, and you pay it down, doesn't it stand to reason that pretty soon that the other debts are going to be more expensive than that one, because the interest payments get smaller and smaller? The amount of money that you can actually save gets less and less the longer you attack that debt. Doesn't it make more sense to attack a debt till it's cheaper than the rest of them and then move over to a more expensive debt where you can save more interest? Doesn't it make more sense to do that than to continue to pay off any debt? Now, even this mortgage, even this mortgage that starts out at $1,000, when it gets down towards the end, look at these payments: $97, $91, $80, $75. There is a certain point where it makes absolutely no sense, even on this mortgage, to pay it off early. Because it takes, when you want to get rid of one line of interest on this mortgage, when you're down this far, it takes $1,123.81 in principal payments to eliminate $75 worth of interest. So, do I want to continue to do that? Or does it make sense? Does it make more sense to take that $1,100 and invest it somewhere where I can actually make more money than I can save in interest? You tell me. When we do this thing wrong, when we focus on this, now some of you came in late, so I'm going to read this statement again. All right, I'm going to read this statement again. Here it is. All right. Our lack of comprehension regarding the underlying mechanics of amortization and its significant influence on debt formation possesses significant limitations to our debt management strategies. Are you hearing that? Because we don't understand the mechanics of how debt is created, if we don't watch out, we're going to have limitations on our debt management strategies. And here, and the rest of the sentence is leading to outcomes that barely scratch the surface of success. We're getting some success, but we're barely scratching the surface. Okay? We're missing out on addressing the root cause, the complex interplay of principal and interest payments in the amortization formula, a knowledge gap that is leading us astray. So why is it taking so long? Because we're going in the wrong direction. We're being led astray by a formula, by a process that everybody is talking about, and we assume it is correct, but no one is explaining to us why the math doesn't work. In my book, I asked the question: if you're using the debt snowball to pay off your debt and get a good feeling from paying off that smaller debts, my book asks the question, how much do you want to pay for your good feelings? How much do you want to pay for your good feelings? Go ahead and continue to invite some people in here. Continue to invite more people in because they want to see this. We have tried to handle our debt, to pay it off, and we're wondering why it's still lingering. Because we are paying on debts, the ones that cost us the least. And we're ignoring the debt that cost us the most in interest cost. Now that you see this, do you see why this is inefficient? Let me bring up now our OCC, okay, opportunity cost calculator. And I'm going to reset this thing. All right, we're going to reset it, and we're going to, let's see here, John and Rebecca Jones are dealing with debt and using this calculator. Now, I need you to, if you want to see this, go to YouTube and you can see what I'm getting ready to put on the screen. Go to YouTube Let me put my my link at the top of the page as well, because I forgot to do that. ICE 10K.com. There we go. Now you can click on that link as well, and you'll also see ICE 10K Live, and you have all of our live links there. It'll take you to all of our live presentations so that you can see what's going on with this. Okay, so let's invite Tammy to speak. See if we can get Tammy to come up. Good morning, Tammy. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Mr. Ice. How you doing?
Listen, I am doing extremely well. I'm doing extremely well. And we just went over the reason why people are engaging in debt elimination, but the debts still hang on way too long. And we're talking about why that is. So, how tell me how things been going for you?
Everything is excellent. So if it's not, it's gonna be. So
Okay.
I just started out with everything is excellent. So
All right. Listen, I want you to tell me. I've just read something for the second time. I'm going to read it for you, and you tell me what you think about this. Our lack of comprehension regarding the underlying mechanics of amortization and its significant influence on debt formation poses significant limitations to our debt management strategies. Okay, we're not attacking it where we need to because we don't understand how debt is formed in the first place. Okay, it leads to outcomes that barely scratch the surface of success. We're missing out on addressing the root cause, the complex interplay of principal and interest payments in the amortization formula, a knowledge gap that's leading us astray. Unless we unravel and grasp this crucial aspect, we are essentially choosing to navigate our path in financial darkness only to experience subpar results. So before you met me and began to understand the pill method, had anybody ever explained to you why the debt hangs on so long and why these particular things that we've been taught to practice, the debt snowball, the avalanche methods, bi-weekly payments, has anybody ever explained to you why they should work? Miss Tammy?
oh, you asked me a question. The when you read all of that,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing that came to my head
Yeah.
is the constant intentional miseducation of the amortization schedule, interest, and how the bank actually works and how they keep your money or keep you from getting money. So the intentional miseducation, it starts in school and what our parents learned, what they didn't learn, and what they, it just keeps. That's the snowball. That's
Okay.
the original keeping you in debt snowball. So yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it starts with a miseducation, and it's not a miseducation because the people that you operate with or make payments to didn't know. It's because they do know, and they only want to make sure they know and you don't, because that keeps you in a 39-month car payment at $750, and yeah, so yeah, that's what keeps you in there at a 29 point whatever interest rate,
Okay.
and you think because you got the car payment you want it, you're living, and you're really not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Thank you, Miss Tammy. So, folks, this is why we're looking at our screen now. And if you want to see what I have on the screen, you can click on the link above, and then you will also see ICE 10K Live. that that has all of our live links. So if you want to go to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, it's all there. But if you just want to go quickly, just go to YouTube on your secondary device, and you can see what we're doing here, and just search for Pill Method, and you can see our live. So John and Rebecca Jones have debt here, okay? And we're going to take a look at what they have as far as their debt is concerned, okay? So we're going to go to the accounts page, and we see that they have a $25,000 auto loan. The Visa is $2,000. Okay. They owe that, and a $200,000 mortgage. I'm going to show you in just simple terms what happens when we use the debt snowball. All right. So we're going to go back here to the action plan. And the program says we're going to be able to pay off this $227,000 that we owe by saving $179,000 in interest we won't pay. And we'll be able to pay off our 30-year loan, our 5-year car loan, and the credit card in just 7.7 years by strategically attacking the debt with saving as much interest as we possibly can. So let me scroll down to here where the program is actually directing us to put money on the debt. Now, our Visa card has a minimum payment of $50. Okay, let's go back. I'm going to show this to you. We're going to go back to the accounts, and we have a minimum payment of $50.88. If we pay this loan off, let's say we choose, because we owe $2,000 here, we owe $25,000 on the auto loan, and we owe $200,000 on the mortgage. According to the debt snowball, Tammy, we should start out paying off the Visa first. We have a $50 minimum payment. Therefore, we're going to put any extra money that we have on the card over and above our $50 payment and pay that off. Okay, that's how the debt snowball works. All right. Does anybody else understand that? Okay. So let's see here. I've got to block somebody for coming in here trying to sell some bogus stuff. So we're going to block them and then eliminate their message. Stop that. Don't come in here trying to sell that bogus stuff. All right. We don't want that. All right. So here we go. You would think they would learn by now, don't you think, Miss Tammy?
Yeah, they like playing around.
Okay. All right. So we're going to pay off the Visa. Now remember, we're going to pay off that Visa. And now we have $50.88 that no longer goes to Visa. Where should we focus next according to the debt snowball? On the mortgage or on the car loan? On the mortgage or on the car loan? Okay. You all tell me, put it in the chat. All right. Or raise your hand and come to the stage. And Miss Tammy can help us to bring some folks up. And if she would, please. There you go. You're now a moderator. And raise your hand if you want to talk about this. All right. And we'll bring you up to the stage, and then you can put your 2 cents on these ideas as well. So we're going to pay this off. We're going to take that $50.88 plus the extra money that we had, and we're going to say, which loans should we choose next? The car loan or the mortgage, according to the debt snowball. All right. Can somebody want to type that into the chat? Or if you're watching us online, go ahead and type it into the comment section. All right. So according to the debt snowball, we should attack the car loan next. Okay. Now, here's what the program is going to do. Let me show you what the program says to do. We're going to go into the settings. We're going to click on preferences, and we're going to read a little something. Okay. Thank you. Derek says we should, according to the debt snowball, we should focus on the car loan next. So right here, the program is set to automatic. The program will choose when and how much money to put on any particular debt to save you the maximum amount of interest. In this case, the maximum amount of interest that can be saved is $179,592. All right. But we can, it says here, when the focus is set to automatic, the program will automatically optimize the order you pay off the debts to become debt free. You may change the focus setting. However, this could have a negative impact on your overall results. So we're going to change it from automatic. We're going to tell the program, I don't want to do automatic. I want to do the debt snowball. I want to focus on the car loan, which I have for 5 years, and then I can pay it off in 2. If I focus on the car loan, I can actually pay it off in 2 years and feel very good about the fact that my car loan is paid off, Miss Tammy, which means I have to ignore the other debt and just make minimum payments. Okay, does it? All right, so let's see what happens. I want you to watch the 7.7 years that we have at the top of the screen and the 179,592 in interest savings at the top of the screen. When I change this over to, I want to focus on the auto loan and pay it off in 2 years instead of 5. Watch what happens. I went from 7.7 years to pay off to 7.8. I went from $179,000 in interest savings. I went down to $177,000. Miss Tammy, is actually going to cost me an extra $2,000 in interest to pay the car off in 2 years instead of in 5 years, because now I'm focusing on the car loan and I'm completely ignoring the mortgage. Listen, folks, somebody has to start doing the math and telling us what to do according to the math that is going on here in the amortization formula. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to send this back. I'm going to change this back to automatic and watch what happens. We go back to 7.7 and we go back to 179,000 in interest savings. Let's go into the accounts and I need to show you what's going on with this auto loan. Okay. If I show you over here, I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see it. Here's the auto loan. The interest payments start out at $83.33. But if I prepay $377.08 in total, I don't have to pay the $83.33 in interest. But it costs me $377 of my dollars to get rid of $83 worth of interest. You following me? Are you following what we're talking about, Miss Tammy? And anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I pulled you up on YouTube so I can.
Oh, you can see it. Oh, good. All right. So you can see this. Great. So now tell me what sense this makes since you can see it. All right. What sense this makes when I go back, all right, to accounts and I'm knocking out these $83 payments, which is significant, paying the car off in 2 years, but I'm ignoring the mortgage. But the mortgage starts out at how much interest am I paying per month on this mortgage, Miss Tammy? It takes
I have a lag.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a lag because of the internet.
$1,000 in interest.
$1,000 in interest. I'm choosing the loan. According to the debt snowball, I'm choosing the loan where I can save $83 in interest payments and it goes down from there. And I'm ignoring the loan that costs me $1,000 in interest and it goes down from there. Does it make financial sense to use the debt snowball in such a way? Folks?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Why is Dave Ramsey teaching it then? Why does Dave Ramsey teach this where a person who has the P.I.L.L method uses the ICE method, all right? Use ICE, interest cancellation expert. It also means interest cancellation eliminates your debt more efficiently. ICE stands for interest cancellation eliminates your debt more efficiently. You can do it efficiently if you pay the right amount of money at the right time to the right debt and cancel a ton of interest. That means more of your money goes to principal, less goes to interest. How did we miss this? Because of, what did you call it? The miseducation around debt? Miss Tammy, you call it the miseducation?
The intentional.
The
intentional miseducation.
Miss Tammy, this sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Oh no.
No?
It's all in the numbers. If you give me a loan and
Mhm.
then you don't tell me how I can pay it off faster, you intended to take money from me.
Oh, I intended to take money from you when the education is not there. Now, I don't need, see, here's the thing. If I go to the bank, and my banker does not inform me of this fact, all right, that's one thing. But folks, it's not a part of our financial education anywhere. Not in middle school, not in high school, not in college, not in your business classes. And I don't care if you have a PhD in business. What we're talking about here today is not taught anywhere. How did that get left out of the educational system? I've talked to people who are in finance. They are they're real estate agents. They're loan officers. They're certified financial planners. They're CPAs. They're MBAs, and none of them have been taught what I'm showing you right here. Why it is important to focus on the right loan at the right time and focus on eliminating interest instead of eliminating the loan itself. You can actually pay these loans off fast, but end up paying a lot more interest. The average person who owns if we have two families that owe the same amount and make the same amount of money, and they live right next door to each other, one family uses the debt snowball, the other family uses the ICE method. The family that uses the snowball will pay $30,000 to $50,000 more in interest to eliminate their loans than the family that uses the ICE method. I'm not saying that the debt snowball will not get you out of debt faster than doing nothing, and will not save you interest. It will save you interest. But why go through all the effort just to pay an extra $30,000 to $50,000 on average? Some pay even $70,000 more because we're ignoring how to manage the interest. So, how many of you have heard of the avalanche method? The avalanche method is a little different. Where we're looking at the interest rate on these loans. Okay. So, I'm looking at the interest rate on this loan, and this one is 27%. Okay. And according to the avalanche method, this is one of the ones we should focus on. We got one that's 27%. We have one that is 18%. We have a loan that is 10%. We've got another one that is 5%. We've got one that's 6%. All right. And we got another one that is 6%. Okay. So according to the avalanche method, we're supposed to attack the debt that has the highest interest payment, the highest interest rate. Okay. The highest interest rate. Can I show you just a little something about a debt that has the highest interest rate? Let me bring up a credit card that has $10,000. Okay, I got $10,000 at 27%. All credit cards are at 240 months. They're amortized over 240 months. Okay, that's 20 years. Okay, my very first interest payment is $225. So if I have, listen, all the credit experts are going to tell you, if you have an interest rate of 27% and you have a $10,000 balance on that card, they're telling you, good morning, brother AJ. How you doing, sir? It's good to see you. It's good. He's watching us on YouTube this morning. All right. So listen, if you have a $10,000 balance on this card at 27%, all the financial experts are telling you, you need to get rid of this because it's killing you. You need to get rid of it fast because it's killing you. Let's say you're in the position to pay it all off in 1 month. Do you realize I talk to people all the time that tell me, Don, I never pay a dime in credit card interest. Tell me, do you know people like that that never pay any interest on their credit cards?
I've heard people speak of such.
Mhm.
Miss Erica asked in the chat, Mr. Don.
Yes,
She said, "Is this method only applicable for a person with a mortgage?"
absolutely not. If so, what I have here, I've got credit cards, I got car loans, and I have mortgages and even student loans. So if it charges you interest, there's a way not to pay all the interest the bank is looking for. Miss Erica, how's that? Okay. But now we need to be able to look at the different programs that are out there that we're being taught that ignore how mortgages or other loans are constructed. So this is a credit card, and every time I show this, the first time people see it, they say, "Oh my God, a $10,000 balance on a credit card at 27%. How did I get here?" All right. And they feel bad about that. They feel bad about that, even though they have a mortgage. They feel bad about the credit card. What if you're in a position to pay off this credit card in 1 month? You have $10,000 in savings. Could you take your $10,000 out and pay this card to zero? If you did, here's what would happen. Here's how much money you would save. $225. That's how much interest you would save if you paid this card off today. That $225. Can I bring up this mortgage, a $200,000 mortgage at 6%? And if you put 10, here's your cumulative principal here, cumulative interest. And I'm going to go down to $10,000. $10,000. All right. And we're going to stop it right in the middle of the screen here. So, Tammy, it's a little bit delayed because of the internet on your side. Okay. But Tammy, when it gets there, you should be able to see line 45 on our amortization schedule. And in the third column, you'll see $10,019.53. Okay. If I put that $10,000 on this mortgage, do you realize I knock off 45 payments off the mortgage? 45 payments. That's by 3.5 years off this mortgage. Now, everybody is talking about paying off the credit card, all right, because of the high interest rate. But guess what they're not focusing on? They're not focusing on interest cost. If we focus on interest cost, we will make different decisions when it comes to our money, because now we're being educated on how debt is constructed. Miss Tammy, you help people with Habitat with Humanity, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So isn't it important that the house has a proper foundation, that it's constructed in the right way? Don't you have to
Yeah,
have some knowledge? You say
you
what?
can't even get to the building process before if you don't have a foundation, if it doesn't pass inspection.
Exactly. So somebody has to know the basic information on how housing construction actually can be implemented. How does it all work? All right. Do you want me, who can barely swing a hammer, coming in and telling you how to build a house, Miss Tammy?
No, sir. And they won't even let you. They won't even let you in on that part. They have places for you. It just won't be that.
It
It
won't be
won't be
that.
that. Your expertise will not be needed in that area for lack of expertise.
So maybe I can bring them some 2x4s. Maybe I could carry some stuff.
And we have a construction company that does the framing,
Yeah.
and they don't even want volunteers in that. They have their own company that does the framing, so they're not liable for anything for the house caving in because the framing is done wrong. So yeah. They it's certain steps that you take, and then only certain areas that people are allowed to be in that are not skilled in that area.
Okay, Miss Tammy, here's the thing. 90% of the people you know will never get out of debt. 90% of the people you know will never be totally out of debt because we don't understand how debt is constructed. What if 90% of the houses that are going up today are being constructed by people who do not understand housing construction? We would never stand for that. How is it that 90% of us, over 90% of us, we do not understand how debt is constructed? And if we don't know that, how can we deal with it efficiently? It just makes sense to learn what is causing the problem to deal with it. Okay. So now, if I pay this $10,000 on this mortgage, I knock off over 3.5 years of payments, and I save, okay, I got to go up one line. I save $42,988.83 in interest. Instead of taking my $10,000 and applying it to the credit card and only saving $225 in interest. So, and the folks, I'm asking this question for a reason. I am not saying that we should totally ignore the credit card. I'm not saying that. But if we did ignore the credit card and just made minimum payments, would it make sense to you to pay $225 in interest in order to save $42,000 in interest? Just asking. What do you guys think? Okay. I don't see any other comments in the chat. All right. If you want to come to the stage and ask some questions, if you're interested in what we're talking about, come on up. So we talked about the debt snowball. We talked about the avalanche method. All right. Let's see. Let me go to my notes. Let me see what else we have. Oh, cut up your credit cards and use cash. Cut up your credit cards and just use cash for everything. Not using credit at all. All right. Here's what you're going to find out. Okay. Just using cash and no credit, not learning how to manage your credit. I know some real estate agents who have come to me and said, Don, I know people who subscribe to that theory, but when it came time for them to get a house, they didn't have bad credit. You know what's worse than bad credit? You know what's worse than bad credit? No credit at all. The only thing worse than bad credit is no credit. And these people could not get the house they wanted because they didn't have the $300,000 or $400,000 in cash to pay for it. Therefore, that cash system did not work. They cut up their credit cards, which is a very good way to learn how to manage credit, to build a credit score. Now, let me tell you why it is not a good idea to cut up your credit cards. If I have a problem with credit, what do I learn, Miss Tammy, from cutting up my credit cards? What do I learn from that?
Nothing. You learn how not to address the problem.
What do you mean? Tammy, if I cut up the credit cards, I certainly can't use them to get in trouble.
Well, the problem still doesn't go away. So it's like arguing water is wet.
Mm.
Water is still wet. The problem doesn't go away. You just put the problem into another category.
So by cutting the cards up, I'm not learning how to manage credit. I just remove myself from the system. But if I'm allowed to use credit again, I will still misuse it. Here's the thing, folks.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you don't know if you don't know you, and you can't tell anybody else what you learned because
Mm.
then you pass on that same level of intelligence to someone else, and they say, "Well, she cut up her credit cards, and that's what I'm gonna do,"
Hmm.
and then it's like a a snowball of unintelligence. Let's just
Mm.
call it.
Come on now, folks. Let me say this. If I have a credit card and I learn how to manage it, this is what you need to know. Credit is not for people who don't have resources. It is only for people who do have resources, meaning you have the wherewithal to pay it back. It is not to be used if you don't have the ability to pay it back, if you don't have the ability to pay it back efficiently. So here's the thing. When you're dealing with credit, what you want to do is be able to pay that back and not pay the bank all the money in interest that they're looking for. What if you could consistently pay back the bank that money that you borrowed for your house, for your education, for your car, for whatever it is that you need, but you could pay it back at 75% off. 75%. The bank is looking for $100,000 in interest, but they're only going to get 25. Okay? Because that's exactly what the bank does. They borrow our money. They make big money with our money and then turn around and pay us pennies on the dollar for the use of our money. We can do the exact same thing. We can borrow money, get a big old benefit for using that money, and then learn how to pay the bank back at a discount. Listen, would you like to be able to anything that you buy, and then there's a sale that comes on, all right, even a year later, and you can take a coupon back to that store at 75% off and then and get that money back. Would you like to be able to do that? Here's what I'm saying, folks. I don't care how long you've been in your mortgage or in your student loans or whatever loans. From this day forward, no matter when you sign those loans, we can show you how you can get at least 50 to 75% off of the interest cost that you have left to pay. How would you like to be able to do that? You don't have to do it at the very beginning. You can do it at any stage along the way. If you've been in there a year or so, let's say, or 5 years, and then you say, you know what? What if I want to do it now? Do I have to refinance? Nope. Do I have to reconstruct the loan? No. Do I have to recast the loan? No, you don't. You can take your loan, your mortgage, what if it's 6%, 7%, or whatever it is, and you can start today and understanding how you can cut 75% out on the interest you have left to pay. Folks, we're in the P.I.L.L Method house today. If you have a red ticket, that means you have not cashed it in. Please go up to the top and click on P.I.L.L Method and join this house. Get in the waiting room. We'll let you in later today. And so when we're back here on Sunday, we're going to actually be in the mortgage syndicate on Sunday. All right. At 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be in the mortgage syndicate giving out valuable information. All right. And what we're going to be talking about on Sunday is this. So write it down, get ready. All right. I'll put that show up today so that you can RSVP not only on Clubhouse, but on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Title of the show is going to be, what is the title of the show for Sunday? Oh, the interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. What? The interest rate you are quoted is not the interest rate you pay. Oh my goodness, that's going to be a good show because everybody's focused on interest rate. We're going to show you how even a 3% interest rate really means a lot more. A lot more, not just a little bit more, a lot more. And you're going to be able to see how the bank uses this system of interest rates and how we're charged exorbitant amounts of interest, even though the interest rates are tiny. So don't miss Sunday's show where we're going to be in Clubhouse, where we're going to be broadcasting from the Mortgage Syndicate. All right. So join both houses, the Pill Method House and Mortgage Syndicate. All right. So back to this thing. All right. So the avalanche method I just showed by if we just focus on interest rate, we could be fooled big time by just focusing on interest rates, by cutting up credit cards. We're not putting ourselves, and just using cash, we're not putting ourselves in the best possible position to leverage our money or our situation. So if you want to be in a better position, if you want to be in a better position starting today, get a savings and earnings report. Would you like to know the month, day, and year you could be debt free? Would you like the education that everybody should have received on how money actually works, how the bank actually makes their money, and how you can defeat the bank's system with education and technology? Get a savings and earnings report today. Go to ice10k.com. Go to my link up above. Click on that link. And when you click that link, and if you're on watching us online, go to ice10k.com and you'll see another button there that says get a savings and earnings report. Get a savings and earnings report. It doesn't take very long to fill it out. You should know the month, day, and year you could be debt free. And most people are out of debt in about 7 years. I don't care how much debt you have. The average family has 13 different debts. I don't care how much debt you have. We're going to show you how not to pay all of that interest. And the average family is out of debt in about 7 years. We're going to take your 360 payments and you'll end up paying about 90 payments instead. 84, somewhere between 84 and 108 payments instead of 360. Taking 30 years, we're going to show you how to do it between 7 and 9 years. And not only that, but you'll be able to live well while you're doing it. Now, can I still go on vacation? Yes. Will I be able to save some money? Yes. Can my family still have some fun every single month? Can we have a budget set aside to have some fun and get out of debt in 7 years? You better believe you can. Because the sacrifice is not going to be on your end. The sacrifice is going to be on the bank's end. How the bank is not going to get all the money it was looking for from you, because now you're educated about how the process works and you're relying on a cloud-based, artificially intelligent computing system that acts like financial GPS that's going to lead you to debt freedom in no time by focusing on cutting the interest cost on your loans, not stealing money from your family and your family's ability to make memories. Here's what you don't want: a system that tells you you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, drive a 30-year-old car, eat beans and rice 7 days a week, and keep telling your family, we can't afford to do anything because I got to take all the money and pay off the debt. Once we pay off the debt, children, we can start having some fun. By the time you've done that, they're 15, 16, 18 years old. And all they know about debt and all they know about money is the trauma you placed on them by continually telling them, I can't afford it. I can't do that. Why not teach the family how to deal with debt more efficiently? One thing you could do to teach your kids something is get them a book. There is a book on the subject. It's the only book on Amazon, out of 33 million titles that talks about this subject, the P.I.L.L method, a better way to eliminate debt. You learn this information and teach it to your children, teach it to your grandchildren, teach it to your nieces and nephews, how they can use the bank's money, leverage it more efficiently, and not only build build a great financial foundation, they can use debt to build wealth. What did I just say? You can use debt to build wealth. We're going to show you how to do that. Because remember, when you're getting your savings and earnings report, you're not just learning how to save interest, you're learning how to make compound interest. It's all a part of the system. Save the interest, take that money, and earn compound interest. And we have W-2 families, Miss Tammy, W-2 families that are making that they are adding over $1 million to their net worth using monies that previously went to the bank. Doggone it, I love it. I absolutely love that. So get the book, folks. Get the book today and start to understand how you can start teaching our young people. I need your help in getting this out. All right. And so much so, I want you to help me in another way where you can actually help yourself. Have you heard of affiliate programs where you can sign up as an affiliate and then that company, by sharing their information, will actually pay you? Well, the P.I.L.L method has probably the most prolific affiliate program on the planet. It's where you can make anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month by sharing our videos. What? You don't have to sell anything. You can go to P.I.L.L method. You can go to ice10k.com. You can click on the button that says become an affiliate. Fill out the information there. It takes 15 seconds and it's absolutely free. I don't charge you anything. Okay. It's free. And then what you do, you're looking for people, you're looking for individuals who are tired of doing things the old way. I'm tired of the debt snowball. I'm tired of the avalanche method. It's not working for me. I cut up my credit cards. I'm trying to just use cash and sinking funds. It's not working. Then send them to the YouTube channel so that they can watch some of these videos. Follow up with them in 48 hours. If they're still interested, go to the second button on the ICE 10K card, ice10k.com. There's another button that says refer family and friends. Refer your friends to the P.I.L.L method. Refer people. You fill out their information. When you fill out their information, folks, you're going to put your name in as the person who referred them, your name and your phone number. You're locked into our CRM. And then that person is coded to you. And when they become a client, we're going to send you $300. One caveat, though, they have to have at least $100,000 in debt. If they have at least $100,000 in debt, then we will be able to honor our commitment to you to pay you $300. But if you send us 5 people in the same month, that could be as much as $3,000 to you in that month. And all you did was point people to a YouTube channel that's telling them the truth about their loans. And when they find out that they can pay off all of their debt in 7 to 9 years on average, and some people do it even faster, not only will they thank you profusely for showing them this information, we're going to pay you because you did it. Yeah, I like that part. I like that part. So go ahead and get that part done for you today. Folks, we're going to jump back. We're going to jump back into this thing. Continue to invite some more people in. Let me see do you have any other questions? Listen, I'm ready to take some questions now about anything that we've talked about today or in the past. All right. Ask me any questions about this. If you want to come to the stage, raise your hand, come to the stage. Or if you're online watching us, go ahead and ask your question in the comment section, or ask a question in the chat if you're on Clubhouse. All right. But now I want to talk about sinking funds. Do you guys know what a sinking fund is? Here's what a sinking fund is. Instead of using, let's say I've got a separate bank account, all right, where I'm putting in cash every month, just in case one of my appliances breaks down and I need to get it fixed or replaced. I put in cash away for that reason. I have another sinking fund where if something goes wrong with the house, I need a roof repair or a window breaks. You know, these new windows now are double glazed with gas in the middle of the pane. So even if you break the bottom sash, they don't come in and replace that. Sometimes they have to replace the whole thing. It could cost hundreds of dollars and sometimes even thousands of dollars to replace a whole bank of windows. We broke one window and we had to replace all three. Cost us thousands of dollars. So what if you have a sinking fund for that, where you have something like that? All right. And I know people who have thousands of dollars put aside in cash so that they can avoid using a credit card for their emergency. Folks, I don't get it. I saw one person online that had $18,000 in a sinking fund so that they can take care of emergencies. You know what? If I had $18,000 on this mortgage, let's go back to the mortgage, Kurt. And Kurt, if you're available today, I don't know, sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. Let me know if you're available today to talk, because people need to also know the magic of being online alive like this. So if you can, give me a message today that you can come on, and then listen, we want you to talk to the people if you can. All right. So I've got my mortgage here. This lady has $18,000. Have you ever heard of putting money aside, like an emergency fund, like 6 months worth of payments in your emergency fund? It borders on the ridiculous when you see how you can manage somebody else's money. Let me ask you something. Do banks invest their own money? Do banks invest their own money? Or do they invest our money? Are banks the biggest borrowers in town? Do you have a Chase in your town? Do you have a Wells Fargo? Do you have a Regions? Do you have credit unions? Listen, do you see how powerful they are? Do you see how strong they are financially? Do you see that they're in the tallest buildings downtown? And they borrow money. But we're being told that if we borrow money, we're doing something evil, something bad, something that makes absolutely no sense. You need to use cash for everything. Listen, success leaves footprints, ladies and gentlemen. Success leaves footprints. Why don't we take the advice of some of the people or businesses that are the most successful in our community and take a page out of their book and study it? Why don't we learn the benefit of leveraging money? All right. So we're looking at putting money aside, $18,000 in a sinking fund, ladies and gentlemen, sitting in a bank account, making 1/10 of 1%. 1/10 of 1%. That's what they're doing. All right. It makes no sense to do that. Watch this. That same $18,000 that they're putting aside so that they don't have to use their credit card. Okay. For, let's say they have a $5,000 emergency. Okay. And their credit card is 15%. Okay. So I can take that $5,000, and put it on this mortgage and knock off 24 months worth of payments. and save $22,000 in interest. I guarantee you, if I put that $5,000 on my credit card, it's not going to cost me $22,000 in interest to pay it off. Why are we taught this? That the credit card interest is somehow worse than the mortgage interest. I'll tell you why. Because if I was in banking, I would vilify credit card interest. So you're focused there, so you'll leave my mortgage interest alone because I make much more money over here. The same banks that are offering you credit cards are offering you mortgages. So we vilify the credit card interest because of the high interest rate, but somehow in our mind, the low interest rate on a mortgage is somehow better when it's not. It's not at all. And that's why we're going to go over this on Sunday. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you end up paying. That's why we're going to focus on that Sunday, because somebody challenged me on that last Monday. And we got to come and tell the truth about what's really going on with these interest rates. So the bank has us in that position where I have $18,000 sitting in a bank account just waiting for something to go wrong. Where if I put that $18,000 on this mortgage, doggone it, I knock off over 6 years. I knock off 6 years on this mortgage and save $68,000 in interest if I take my 18 grand and apply it to this mortgage. Huh? I could take my $18,000 and apply it here rather than just sit it in a bank making 0.1% waiting for something to go wrong. So folks, because you have money, that's why you leverage somebody else's money. Because the cost of leveraging somebody else's money is so low compared to what you could do with your cash, eliminating other higher cost debt. If I can take my $18,000, my $17,000, look there, $18,000, boom. I can take $18,000 and knock off 75 payments and save $70,000, almost $71,000 in interest. Why wouldn't I do that? And if I have an emergency on a credit card, let me pull up one more. All right. We're going to take this $10,000. We're going to change it to $18,000. Okay. I have a 15% credit card. Okay. Even if I had to put my $18,000 loan on here, okay, boom. All right, 18,000. My first interest payment is $225. Okay, $18,000 at 15%. My first interest payment is $225. Okay, let's just say now. I'm just doing the math here, folks. I'm just doing the math. Okay, I can knock off over 6 years, 3 months off this mortgage. 6 years, 3 months off this mortgage and save almost $71,000 if I do that. I need you to see that. If you want to see what I'm doing, go to YouTube, search for P.I.L.L method, and you can see this example. Okay, now I'm just saying, what if I put that money on my credit card and I paid my credit card back? Let's just say the interest payment never went down. I'm going to pay the same amount of interest every single month until it's paid off. It won't do that, but I'm just saying, I'm just doing this to make a point so that we can see the math involved. Okay. So if it took me exactly 75 months, okay, and my first interest payment here is $225, but it never went down while I'm trying to pay that card off. I pay that card off over 75 months, and every single month it costs me $225, $225. Okay. If I multiply that by 75, okay, that's still only $16,000. If my interest rate never went down, my interest cost never went down for the same amount of money, and it took me 70 months to pay that off, okay, it would cost me $16,000. But if I took that same $18,000 and put it on my mortgage, let's go back to the mortgage. Look here, 18,000. I saved $70,000. So my people, let me ask you. And this is bordering on the ridiculous here. I'm not saying this is what we should do. I'm just looking at a ridiculous situation because of the ridiculousness of the education we are now embroiled in, that's being baked into our society. We're being taught that credit cards are evil. Go ahead and that interest on our mortgages is cheap. Okay, that's what we're being told. So here's my question. Even if it cost you $16,875, would you pay that in order to save $70,000 on your mortgage, $72,000 on your mortgage? Would you pay $16,875 so that you could save $72,000 in interest on your mortgage? You tell me, yes or no. Put it in the chat. Yes or no? Do you see? It won't even cost you nearly that much to pay off this loan on your credit card. At most, it may cost you $1,200, $1,300, $1,500. But even if it cost you $16,000, it would still be worth it if you could use that money to save $70,000 somewhere else. Folks, we're not taught to do the math. We're not taught to do the math. So, Kurt, I was looking for your comment here. Can you come online today? Put it in the chat here. Let me see here. Comments. All right. All right. Strategic Secret says, good morning, everybody. Strategic Secrets is in here again. Good morning. Good morning to you, sir. Good morning to you. All right. So, Kurt, can you come on today? Is it possible? People want to hear how they can get in here and stop doing everything that we've been taught to do and do something better than we've been taught. All right. So I think he's coming on, folks. I think he's getting things geared up. All right. We got Giuseppe in the room. Giuseppe, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, Don.
Hey, Kurt, how are you?
Not bad, man. It just took me a second to get some things situated.
Listen.
How it goes, man. Always multitasking. But, man, listen, you have been on fire today, as usual, on fire today, giving out valuable information. There's these are questions that every, I wish I could say that not everybody would have to deal with it. But the truth is, everybody's got some kind of financial strategy or plan because that's how we live.
Mm-hmm.
The use of money, the investment of money, the saving of money, understanding your financial outlook is critical. It is absolutely critical. And that's why your shows do so well. That's why, people watch and people send you messages, people jump in there. But this is the thing. I just want to come on to say this. I know you asked me to come on to talk about how they can use live video, but I want to say this about your program and next steps. A lot of people come through and they hear the information and they're taking notes feverishly. If you're like me, you probably got your spreadsheet, or with all your bills on there, and you're saying to yourself, okay, I see what Don's talking about. I'm going to add this little component here and see how that helps me out. That would be good, but that would not be the best thing to do. I am telling you from experience, go and get a savings and earnings report. The meeting that you can have to describe and explain and break down the savings and earnings report, that's where you pay for the consult. But Don is willing to give you the report itself. Just the report itself. What was that? What does that cost, Don? What does that cost?
It costs free 99.
Okay, I
Free
like that price.
99.
I like that price. I like that price. You know, one of the things that I said to my kids all the time is you have to have all the information to be able to make the best decision. And I think what Don's show does more than anything else, it makes it very clear for those who are listening and watching right now that we do not have all the information. We simply don't. We don't have all the information to be able to make the best decision. And Don is not saying buy his program. He's simply saying get a savings and earnings report. Now, if you're like me, you're going to get that report. You're going to see that date that you can be debt free, and you're going to book the session and you're going to pay the $150 gladly. Why? Because you want a person who gave you that report with your numbers on it to break down how in the world does this work. That's where the secret sauce is. People constantly ask, man, why? Well, you've been working with Don for years now. What's the goal? What's the gotcha? What's the gimmick? I'm like, there's no gimmick here. There's no gimmick here. It's no gimmick here. Finances is going to affect every person on the planet.
Just because of that, Kurt, you have shared your good news with other people.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you love sharing the real good news because you're also a preacher.
That's right.
All right. So you're sharing the good news of the pill method with people. What are some of the first reactions you get when you share it?
A lot of people think that it's unfortunate, but in the financial world, there's just so many little gimmicks and plays, and there's this swap thing that you can do. There's, you can get this thing to get ahead, and they all basically resemble something like a pyramid scheme, and folks are just so skeptical that they're just like, I just can't be real. They're looking at it, they listen to it, I send them to the show, and they just feel like it can't be real. I've told you this before, Don, that I've gotten to the point now where I really only recommend people watch the show if they're actually looking for a better way to pay off their debt. If they're not looking for a better way, then I just say, hey, if you're fine with what you're doing, then it's fine. But I even said to a set of friends, I said, man, in about 10 years, maybe less, at this point, probably 5 years, Kanika and I are going to be making some moves. For those that don't know, that's my wife's name. We're going to be making some financial moves, and you're going to be wondering, how in the world are you able to do that? And I'm going to tell you, it's because of this method right here that I'm telling you today. And in 5 years, you're going to ask me again. I'm going to tell you, remember that conversation we had 5 years ago? It's because of that. And that's when they start to look at me like, oh man, I don't be left behind. Because the truth of the matter is, we've never been taught this stuff. That's why this show is so important, so critical. We've never been taught this stuff. And Don is sharing critical information that you can take and use, and it will have positive impact on your finances today. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to get the savings and earnings report. I'm simply saying, if the man can give you that for free, what is he going to give you that you can pay for? And it's not even really a payment. It's really an investment on your part. But I hope that answers the question, Don. I get a lot of skepticism. Folks are looking at me like, it just can't be. But I think the education piece that you provide with your show, showing people how an amortization schedule works, that there is math behind this thing. It's not magic, it's math. They're numbers, and they can follow it. They can follow the arithmetic because they've done math in school. That part we do teach, but they've never even seen the equation that's behind the amortization schedule. So now when they see it, they begin to realize, like, okay, that all makes sense. But why have I never been taught this? And that's where the dissonance is. That's where that imbalance is. That's where they're trying to exist. It's, well, I've never been taught this before. How could it be true? I feel like I'm, as you said the other day, I feel like I'm taking the red pill here and somebody's waking me up. I didn't realize that I was asleep. So there is that dissonance between what they see, what they hear, what they know to be true, but what they're seeing on screen in front of them in black and white with the numbers, it's betraying them. So they find themselves in between those two spaces.
Thank you very much, Kurt. Listen, I was trying to put your website in there, kirknugent.com, but
Yep, personalnugent.com.
I
Yep.
separated it, folks. It's supposed to be all one. KIRK, Kirk Nugent.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Yeah, and while you're doing that,
KirkNugent.com.
one of the things that Don has been laser focused on is getting this value out to the world in mass, and setting it up in a way that even when he's asleep, even when he's on a cruise, even when he's at the top of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, people can still watch these videos. People can still access this value. People can still realize a better way to eliminate their debt because he has taken the time to employ live video as a strategy. That's what I do. That's my piece of the deal here. Is I help people who have a message, who have a platform, who have things that they want to do. I help them get that message out there. In like this, he's on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter this morning, also Clubhouse, and he is able to share his message live with you in this way, but also anybody that wants to catch this thing on the replay can do so as well. And I've just firmly believe that your live stream is your digital storefront. There's no greater way for people to experience your greatness than for them to see you do it live. And when they see you do it live, there's really no need for the ad campaign. There's no need for the taste test. When they see you do it live, they're ready to do business with you because they recognize that there's some genius. There's some, there's something at work there that you cannot master that. You cannot conjure that up. Somebody comes on Clubhouse with a question. Don puts their numbers on screen and shows it to them. You can't fake that. You can't fake that.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you so much
Absolutely.
and all you do for us to get. So, folks, listen, if you want to do this for yourself, click on kirknugent.com, contact him, and he'll show you how you can put your information out there as well.
Absolutely.
Kurt, I got one last thing to talk about today, and then we're going to end the show for today.
Sure.
It's about bi-weekly payments. Giuseppe, before I get into it, could you go ahead and introduce yourself, sir? Are you able to talk to us? Because I know you're probably busy in your office. Giuseppe, going once, going twice. Oh, he just wants to support. I appreciate it. All right, not a problem. All right, folks, here's the last thing we're going to talk about today. Bi-weekly payments. Bi-weekly payments. You know, when I first heard about bi-weekly payments before I started the P.I.L.L method, I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. Make your mortgage payment every other week. Just cut your payment in half, okay? And then pay it every 2 weeks. Listen, you can pay off. Now, here's what is commonly said. If you pay your mortgage off every 2 weeks, you can cut off about 15 years. How many of you have heard that? If you've heard that, say yes or no. You can cut off about 15 years if you pay your mortgage every other week. All right. Have you heard that? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. All right. Put it in the chat. Yes or no? Have you heard that? So here's what I'm talking about. If you do that, okay, here's what you can do. If you look it up, everybody, because Derek is saying yes, Zoe's saying yes. All right. Here's what we're learning. If you look it up, you can Google it. The best you can do is between 4.9 and 7 years. You can turn your 30-year mortgage into a 23-year mortgage by making a bi-weekly payment. But guess what it doesn't tell you? It doesn't tell you how much interest you just saved. It doesn't tell you that at all. But you can use a bi-weekly payment to be done in 23 years. With the P.I.L.L method, with using ICE, Interest Cancellation Expert Techniques. Interest cancellation eliminates your debt more efficiently using the ICE methods. You can knock off all of your debt in about 7 years, saving 23. Wow. Because we're focused in on your interest payment. See, here's what happens with a biweekly payment. Let me break this down for you. Biweekly payments, okay? Biweekly payments work like this. When you have a mortgage payment, and on about the first, you send in half the mortgage payment, and then on the 15th, you send in the other half. Guess what? When you pay that first half, it just sits there waiting for the second half. They're not applying it. It doesn't save you a dime in interest. They're not applying it to principal at all, because mortgages only accept full payments. They hold it until you make the second payment around the 15th, and then they apply it just like any other payment. And it's like that 10 months out of the year. It's like you making your mortgage payment the same way 10 months out of the year. Only 2 months out of the year, it makes a difference. And here's what happens. Because 2 months out of the year, you're going to make 3 of those payments. You're going to make a half payment around the 1st, another one around the 15th, and another one around the 30th. Yep. And then that means 3 payments went to the mortgage, and that third one actually goes to principal. But you still owe a payment the next month. You still owe a payment at the first of the month. Yes, you do. All right. So you're going to make 3 payments in that month, and when and you're going to do that twice in a year, which adds up to 13 payments a year. That's how they work. They don't work any differently than that. It's like making 13 payments a year. And by doing that, the best you can do is get out of debt in 23 years. That is the very best you can do. When a person comes on the P.I.L.L method, they generally just end the biweekly payments. They just make their mortgage payment once a month. And then with our system, they know when to take money out of their savings account to the penny, and when to apply it to the debt, what month to do it in, what day of the month to do it on. And we will calculate their interest savings each and every time they do it. Okay? Each and every time they do it. I'm going to show you here. Let me bring up my program. I hope it hasn't timed out. Okay? And I'm going to put up the program, boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to show you, the last thing we're going to show you is, let me go back to the action plan. Hope it hasn't timed out. There it is. Okay. There it is. Action plan. Let me show you something here. This is John and Rebecca Jones. And they started this out in March of 2023, making their payments, paying off their debt, telling the program what's happening. I'm just going to skip down here to 2 or 3 months in, where the program says take money that they've been setting aside in the checking account, take that money out of the of the savings account rather, and apply it to the Visa and pay it all off in 1 month. By doing that, they just saved $1,736.34 in interest right there, right there. The interest savings. That's the key to it all. The interest savings. That's the key. And then after that, all right, after paying off the credit card, they're going to take $1,116.98 out of their savings account and apply it to the mortgage, to the penny. No more than this, because this is the optimum amount and optimum day. When you do that, they just found out by taking $1,116.98 and applying it to the mortgage, we do the math, and they save $5,435.91 in interest right there. Okay. So the program says, here's what's interesting. That money was already in their bank account, right? And they made their payment. They made their payment on the 1st. This is their regular mortgage payment on the 1st. The regular payment on the 1st. And then they waited 6 days and made their another payment to principal, $1,116.98. They have, at this point, they have over $8,000 in their savings account, but the program says only take out $1,116.98, not even rounding up the 2 pennies. not even rounding up the 16 to $1,120. And if they wanted to, they could put $1,500 on. And but I want to tell you why. And it's because of this: violating the law of diminished return. There's a point at which more is actually too much and it works against you. I'm going to show you that now. Okay? If they follow the program the way it's designed, John and Rebecca Jones will save $179,592 in interest. If they follow the program the way it is designed, $179,592. If they go outside the design, even though it seems like they're going to be better off, they will actually be worse off. I'm going to show you why. Here's the reason why. We're going to open this up. We're going to execute that. We're going to say, here's our interest savings. I'm going to put a calculator on the screen. Okay, here we go, folks. We're going to take the $5,435.91 that they will save by applying the $1,116.98. So if we do that, so if we divide it, we divide their interest savings by their principal prepayment of $1,116.98, we will get $4.87, 4.866 or $4.87 in interest. For every dollar they apply, they're going to save $4.87 in interest, which is a pretty good return on your money. All right. Pretty good return on your money. And in other words, that's 487% return on your money. Don't you like that? 487% return on your money. Kim Sell has a question here. Does the P.I.L.L method only apply to mortgages or can you put it on? Yes, all loans. See, John and Rebecca have a mortgage. They have a HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit. They've got a car loan, and they have a credit card. It applies to all of it, Kim. Thank you very much for asking that question, because we want to get you out of all of your debt. This is not just for the mortgage. They're going to be out of debt in 7.7 years on all of their debt. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's everything. Okay, so now watch this. We're at $4.87. We're going to do something different. We're going to tell the program that we want to put $1,500 on the debt, and we're not going to wait till the 7th. We're just sending it in with the payment. We're going to pay more, and we're going to pay it sooner. Oh, that's got to be better. I got over $8,000 in the bank. I could put $1,500 on instead of what the program said. And look here, it already recalculated my interest savings, $7,259.78. So let's do that math. Right now we're at $4.87 in interest savings per dollar. Okay, so now we're going to put in our $7,259.78 and divide it by 1,500. This is what the banks won't tell you. Now we're at $4.83 per dollar. We're actually saving less per dollar because we're putting more money on at the wrong time. That is significant. That's important to know. So what would happen to our interest savings? Okay. What would happen to our interest savings if we decided to do what we wanted to do instead of what the program said to do? Remember, we're at $179,592. We're going to put $1,500 on. We're going to put it on sooner as opposed to waiting. We're going to execute that. We're going to put on here what we want to put on. Watch what happens. $179,592. It dropped to $179,552. We're actually saving less money overall by putting more money on at the wrong time because we have not learned the mechanics of how amortization actually works. If you want to know why, folks, if you want to know why you've tried everything to manage your debt and it didn't work, it is because we did not understand the mechanics of this. Now we want to try ICE. If you want to try ICE, that's what we're going to go over, trying ICE. And for those who came in late, I want to read this statement to you that we read at the top of the show one last time before we say goodbye. Here is why this is not working. Okay? Here's why it's not working. Listen to this. Our lack of comprehension regarding the underlying mechanics of amortization and its significant influence on debt formation poses significant limitations to our debt management strategies, leading to outcomes that barely scratch the surface of success. That's why. We're missing out on addressing the root cause, which is the interest costs on these loans. We're missing out on addressing the root cause, the complex interplay of principal and interest payments in the amortization formula. A knowledge gap that's leading us astray. Unless we unravel and grasp this crucial aspect, we are essentially choosing to navigate our path in financial darkness, only to experience subpar results. That's what's going on, folks, when we don't understand what we should understand about these loans, and the remedies that we're given only scratch the surface of success. That's why you've tried everything to manage your debt and it's not working. Now it's time to try ICE. Thank you, everybody. I want to thank you very much for being here today. We're getting ready to get out of Dodge. I want to thank you again. All right. And make sure that you're back here on Sunday. All right. Where we're going to be in the mortgage syndicate at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's 8:30 Central time, where we're going to talk about the interest rate you're quoted by the banking system is not the interest rate you pay. You don't want to miss that show. All right. So finally, we're going to go over the 3 or 4 things I would like to. Derek says, thank you. You're so welcome, Derek. Let me go over the 3 or 4 things that you want to do. Go to ice10k.com and get your savings report. Don't forget that. ice10k.com, get your savings report. Number 2, all right. When you get your savings report, we're going to tell you the month, day, and year you're going to be debt free and how much interest you could save. And we're going to show you how you could take that interest savings and turn it into interest earnings with compound interest. Oh my gosh, so powerful. All right. So now, once you do that, then make sure you become an affiliate. Share this information with other people. All right. Become an affiliate, share this information with other people, and we'll pay you anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month. Just send us people who have at least $100,000 in debt. Just do what Kirk was doing. He shares the YouTube channel with people. They watch it, and if they want to know more, then he sends them over to us as a referral. Use the same card to fill out the referral section. Last thing, get the book. Start teaching your young people today. The P.I.L.L method book. Use the same card or go to Amazon and look for the P.I.L.L method, a better way to eliminate debt. And you can find all of our stuff. And if you forget all of that, just Google P.I.L.L method and everything pops up. So I want to thank you all for being here. We're going to have one last word from Dr. Eric Thomas, who actually discovered the P.I.L.L method and paid off his mortgage in record time, giving his wife a stress-free life. That's going to be the last word for today. Thank you, everyone. We're going to see you on Sunday. Have a good rest of your preparation day, and happy Sabbath to everyone. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? because I'm going to keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't got to do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.